Can you please introduce yourselves?
My name is Mindy Thornton. I'm the director of the college program here at Marshall University.
I'm Nate Hensley. I'm the coordinator of campus-based services.
Can you tell us a bit more about Marshall University?
So we are considered a mid-sized university. We've got 11,000 students in the university, and we do have a very good professor to student ratio. That's about 17-1. And average class size here at the university is around 20 students for undergraduate, and then graduate, it actually gets better. It's around 10 students in a class. Marshall is a very community-based university. You get that larger university with a very small college feel. Our campus is very centralized. You can walk from one end of campus to the other in about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how you walk. And it's very easy to navigate. You don't need to have a car to come to Marshall. That is one thing that a lot of students enjoy, is that they don't have to have transportation. And we do have public transportation so that students can go off campus and enjoy the city of Huntington.
And how about the surrounding community of Huntington, West Virginia?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff around Marshall, and the city of Huntington is very community-based around Marshall. Like right now, summer feels like Marshall's very connected to Huntington. So it's not too lively on campus, but when students come back, the whole community kind of picks back up because it kicks off football season, and Huntington's very closely related to Marshall University.
Marshall is the university where, if you've ever seen the movie We Are Marshall, that is a true story regarding the sports team here at Marshall University. And so there is a very close connection with the community of Huntington.
Could you tell us more about the college program?
So the college program started in 2002, and it started because of a request from a parent for a student with autism to be supported throughout his college career. So that's the start, and it has grown since then. And now we serve about 60 students on campus in the program. The philosophy or goal of the program is that we have employable adults that are independent. So it's not about getting a degree per se, but we want them to get a degree and then be able to go out and get a career in their field of study.
We focus on three main areas, which is academic support related to executive functioning, independent living, and social skills and supports.
How do you support academic success?
For academic support, what we do is we spend a lot of time breaking down each class for the students, looking at the assignments, when they're due, all of those things. And we've started within the last year using an executive functioning help app called Equip. And that the student can utilize that app. It has all of their assignments, their daily schedule. So it's been very helpful, and our students have received it well. They enjoy using it, but we break down the classes, make sure that they've got everything, and it's more about the executive functioning and organizational skills that sometimes students with autism struggle with.
We also have about 8 to 10 different groups that go on campus up here in our supports in our program. They range from anything that is interest-based and very social in nature to learning different skills, such as with her group, learning different social skills and how to approach and interact with and work through different social scenarios and settings. For independent living, Equip also helps a lot with that too. We do a lot of, especially in groups, like experience-based teaching and learning. So there's a lot of experience-based things, such as like helping students with modeling. It is nice to have a lot of our students live on campus, so that we are very close by to help with independent living supports. But a lot of students will also live close by in apartments, or their goal is to maybe start on campus and then live off campus close by.
How do you support students developing social connections?
We have small group socials that take place maybe with activities on campus, where a few of our peer mentor GAs will go with students to go maybe do something experience-based, like go over to Starbucks at the student center in a social setting. And then we have larger program events where it's something that one thing we had was we got involved with a local girls group home, and we did a service learning project with them, so that we had students stuff like support bags, and then we were able to drop that off to the group home. So there's a service learning component tied to it.
How is the college program team structured?
So we have 6 student support specialists here currently, and they have about 12 students each. And that's the ratio that we would like to keep, is 12-1. And then each support specialist has 4 peer mentors that work with our students. So then you've got a ratio of 3-1 for mentoring. So it's very individualized, very small groups, and they all get a lot of attention. Our support specialists and mentors meet with the students about twice a week. So, you know, they're here a lot. They get to interact with us, with each other, and we see our students develop relationships with other students in the program. And we do encourage them to be part of the Marshall community, part of the Thundering Herd, and to be out in campus doing activities on campus. That's the reason that we have gone to one big college program event. So it's all of the students, but then the other socials that we have, we want them out on campus doing things with other students while we support them in that environment.
How do students apply for the college program at Marshall?
So to start the application process, it is a 2-part process. Student has to be accepted to Marshall University, and then also they are going to apply to our program. They can do that online. It's an online application, and they will have to attach their documents supporting their autism diagnosis, IQ scores, academic achievement, any IEPs that they had while they were in high school, and we will review all of that. There is also, once they get through that process, an interview that we do. We do a team interview, and we can have the student, their parents, or anyone else that they want involved in that interview. We can do that virtually because we wouldn't expect somebody to travel, 5 hours to come to an hour interview. So we have set up virtual interviews to do that, unless they want to come on campus, and then we welcome that as well. So that's the process. For the fit, we're looking for students who can support themselves academically. So they're going to have to be able to complete college level work. So we do look at IQ scores to judge some of that. We do look at their test scores if they've taken an ACT or an SAT. And then the next part is they have to be able to have some kind of independence. So we need students who are not going to have us come over every morning and knock on their door. So they're going to have to get themselves to class. And we can help them and set reminders and routines so that they're able to do that, a bedtime routine, a morning routine. But we're not going to be able to just walk them class to class across campus. So independent living, there has to be a start on that.
How much does the college program cost per semester?
We have a cost of about $5,000 per semester. And then we have another rate for summer, because some students do take classes in the summer and are supported through the summer as well.
And funding from departments like vocational rehab, a lot of times they do cover the amount of program fees. So that helps kind of offset the total cost that families and students would be paying.
What type of career services support do your students receive?
We rely mostly on our on-campus resource, the Office of Career Education. They have a staff full of people who are certified in many different career areas. They provide a lot of services like mock interviews, interview preparation, resume help, job searches, and they use a system called Handshake that is similar to LinkedIn in a way that kind of gets students familiar with a system like that.
What housing options are available to your students?
So for our students, we don't have dedicated housing for the program. They are in the typical dormitories that we have on campus if they want to live on campus. So Marshall does require that undergraduates, freshmen, sophomore, stay in the dormitories unless they live within a certain miles from campus. So we do have some students who live at home and commute and are in the program. But then the upperclassmen can choose upperclassmen dormitories or living off campus. We do have some students that choose to live in an apartment, and we support them while they live in the apartment. We encourage them, if they want a single, to go ahead and work with the Office of Accessibility and Accommodations to fill out the documentation to get a medical single. But honestly, we kind of encourage them to go ahead and fill out the interest survey that the university has, the matching survey for a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would help them if they're having any difficulties with that roommate, because it might be the first time that they've actually had to share a space like that with someone. It usually is for any freshman coming to college.
Mm-hmm.
So we would just help support them with any conflicts that they have, as well as encourage them to utilize their RA, their residential assistant.
The great thing is we start every fall semester by training all housing staff, whether it's new RAs or returning, on what autism looks like and ways to support students with autism. So we end up having a good relationship with housing, and rather than us going over and handling like every roommate conflict or potential misunderstanding, the housing staff and RAs get trained on like basics with autism so that they can kind of use those skills and integrate that into like roommate mediation and roommate conflicts, and helping to resolve anything that goes on in the halls.
Marshall also offers a separate program for students with learning disabilities, correct?
So we also here at Marshall University, and this is a separate program from us, is the HELP program, and that is higher education learning program. And it is for students who have learning disabilities. Autism does qualify them for this program. And we work very closely. We have some students who do both programs, some that only come to ours and don't seek out the HELP program as well. But we work very closely and help each other with students that we have in common. And that's something that's special to Marshall University. It's been around quite a long time, longer than us.
Yeah.
How do you communicate with parents of college program students?
When it comes to communication with parents, we start out before a student enters the program and we conduct what we call their futures plan. And in that, it spends a lot of time talking about how things are going to get communicated to your parents. So we come ready for that conversation, because we do encourage the students to allow us to communicate their successes, their needs with their parents, because I think it's important. The parents want to be involved, and at the end of the day, when the student leaves the university, they're going to go back to their family, whether that's visits, in between breaks, after they complete the university. If the student allows us, we give regular updates to the parents via email and phone calls, and they're always part of the futures planning, which starts out on admission and then is a weekly, or I'm sorry, not a weekly, but a yearly review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important. We have students start out with completing a consent form, and a student will tell us like who they want to be included with, like, Mindy mentioned, talking about like a successful grade in a class. So between the consents and also abiding by FERPA, we go off of what the student wants. And if the student says, I don't mind if, my parents hear about every exam, whether it's good or bad, we honor that, and then we follow by that. And then a lot of times we encourage students also to give their own updates to families. So, okay, we had a little thing come up. We encourage students to, give their own updates to families, so that they can get in the mindset of like advocating for themselves and, being able to talk about their own accomplishment.
Can you tell us about your support for student mental health?
One thing that we do offer that sets us apart from other programs is we have in-house counseling services available. So we have a mental health counselor on staff. Usually each semester we'll have maybe about 3 to 4 counseling interns, and interns in other fields that they're completing a master's degree in a field like social work or PsyD or counseling for mental health. They help out a lot with the groups that go on, especially the one. We incorporate a lot of like mental health, mindfulness, stress relief as well. And we also have the first sensory room that was made on campus. So we have that in-house as well. And it's really cool. We've been branching out to kind of take it mobile to events.
How well do your college program students perform academically?
Our last semester, we keep metrics on overall GPAs for the program. And last semester, we had a collective 3.0 out of 4.0. So that actually went up from data prior, which was about a 2.75. So we're on a steady incline. I know at some point that'd be great if we hit like a collective 4.0, but we're really proud of the level of accomplishments that they've been doing.
And you also offer a summer transition plan for new incoming students.
So we also offer a summer transition program. It does fall in line with a summer session here at Marshall. They take a class. Most of those classes offered are online, but they live on campus and they participate in the daily program that we have here. So they get that small start. We take rising seniors from high school as well as our incoming freshmen, and they get that slow transition into college with our support. This summer at Marshall, there's not a whole lot of on-campus activity except on orientation days or if the university is holding a large event. So it gives them that opportunity to kind of just softly fall into living in the dormitories and being on campus and maybe taking in a small baseball or softball game or something, because we do have a local feeder league to the minor league teams, so they can attend that as well. So they get to know Huntington a little bit better as well, because again, Huntington in the summer times is smaller than when the students are here in.
Do you have any success stories you'd like to highlight?
So we actually do still keep track of a lot of our graduates from Marshall, and I'd like to talk about the very first student that we had. He actually still lives in this area, and he is employed and enjoys his full-time job, but he has found other interests besides just his job, and he does some things for the local radio station here in town, and then he also helps out at sporting events, running scoreboard and things like that. So it's very exciting to see him have hobbies and not just have, his full-time job. As far as like littler successes, we see students come in every semester that do not want to interact socially or just don't know how to gain relationships. And even in our summer program, by the end of the summer, they have formed relationships, whether that be with students in the program or with their roommate, because we have a couple students who are really enjoying hanging out with their roommates. So I think that's one of the biggest ones when we talk to parents is they want their student to have a typical college experience, and part of that is gaining relationships. And I feel like that's what our program really does well, is helping them form friendships and relationships with professionals, professors, that kind of thing.
Big thanks to Mindy and Nate and to the college program at Marshall University. Please subscribe to Inclusive Academia.